Winter Soldier investigation is kind of like a war crimes tribunal, a commission of inquiry. It was originally called, before it was called the Winter Soldier investigation, back when it was Vietnam veterans against the war organizing these events back in 1970. And this commission of inquiry or war crimes tribunal or investigation really is attempting to accomplish debunking the Pentagon myth that atrocities in the war on terror, or originally in Vietnam, were somehow the work of a few bad apples or aberrations. Instead, what Winter Soldier and Iraq Veterans Against the War is trying to argue is that these are actually inevitable outcomes of a military occupation where the United States is attempting to impose its will on the people of Iraq and Afghanistan. So at the Winter Soldier investigation that we're organizing for Madison in September, you're going to have the opportunity to hear veterans of the occupations in Iraq and Afghanistan talk about, in some cases, the war crimes and atrocities that they saw, or that they, in some cases, even took part in, the dehumanizing effects of the war itself on them, on their comrades in the war itself. Also the sexism and homophobia that characterizes the military culture, and the anti-Arab and anti-Muslim racism that's used to justify the troops. All these stories and much more specific details which you and I, non-veterans, didn't ever see firsthand, will be able to hear firsthand from these stories, from these veterans, stories which are really being shut out of the mainstream media.
And these hearings really are something to see. I mean, you have soldiers really just talking about the things most painful in their life to talk about. And then you have soldiers coming up and ripping off their medals, throwing them in the crowd. It's the kind of thing that anybody would want to see, and that especially makes for compelling TV drama. Yet that's what shows how shocking it is, or not shocking, depending on your level of cynicism, that it would be a blackout of it in the mainstream media.
Right. I mean, that point alone shows that not anybody wants to actually listen to it. In fact, the people who make decisions at the big television stations in this country, CBS, NBC, Fox, all these people refuse to actually send reporters to the Winter Soldier investigation in Silver Spring, Maryland in March. And so what are we going to do as activists in the anti-war movement, and some of the efforts that we in the Campus Anti-War Network are taking, is to amplify their voices precisely because mainstream media channels are refusing to carry these stories.
And this is also why Campus Progress is going to be leading an effort to pressure these media sources to actually support our troops for once and give them a platform to have their voice heard. Their opinions matter, and people want to hear their opinions, so why don't our mainstream media actually let them do it?